How you doing, guys? Sorry again about the noise from my heater. We're back in the studio. That thing's turning on and off so much because of the temperature outside. If I want to shoot in the studio and I don't want that noise, I'm going to have to speak in really short little increments. Anyway, today I'm here to talk to you about simple special effects. I just finished the final episode of Season 2 of The Simplest Things, which hopefully will be hitting Amazon Prime very early next week, if not late this week. And this ship plays a major part in it. And this ship was part of a display. And as you can see, it's got this neat little cone that comes down. It's what holds it up for the display. Now, most people, this makes a great way to shoot it. If you painted it blue or had a blue piece here, I'd be able to key it right out with the blue screen. Or if I painted it green, I can green screen it. I don't use green screen on this ship that much. One, because the blue background against the sky blends better if there's any halo. Two, these lights are green when they sequence, so there'd be holes in the ship. And to make the ship fly, instead of using a moving camera, one of the simple effects I do is I just change the scale or position of the ship in the picture using Adobe Premiere. You don't have to go into After Effects, it's in the regular editing program. At least on Premiere 5 it is. And so these blinking lights give the illusion of it turning, even though we're always shooting the same side of the ship. So they add movement to that still image that I may be using. And so I feel like that helps. But back to the cone. So the cone was originally there just to hold it up. That's its purpose. However, in the sixth episode, in the finale, when Pratt finds the ship, he has to get beamed up into it. And it's supposed to be a much older ship than his. So you guys might have seen the little particle thing that we use in The Simplest Things. If you go on Amazon Prime, Season 1's up now. When he teleports, he breaks up into little particles like we all have seen in other movies and shows and stuff. And that's how he teleports. But this is how the old ship teleports. It literally sucks him up into the ship. So what I did was, in all the shots where the beam isn't on, I just cropped the image here. What I've done in some other pictures, and I kind of like it better, this looks a little dusty. It's not, it's the patterning on the ship. What I've done is stretched it a little bit. If you turn the restraints off, you can stretch the image, and it gives the ship a wider stance, flatter, but makes it look bigger. And it makes it look more sleek and more stealth and faster, which I kind of like. But for this, I left it this shape because I wanted that old school look. And we cut this out for when it's flying, but when it actually, and it's just floating there in the scene, but when it actually beams him up, what I did was I could have uncropped the image. And what I did was I used the uncropped version of the image. I went from this to the uncropped version of it. And it's the same shot, right? But instead of slowly uncropping as I went, simpler thing to do. I mean, the name of the show is The Simplest Things, right? So keep it simple. Simplest thing to do is to just do a wipe from this image to the image of the uncropped version with the cone showing. So no cone, cone, and as it wipes, the cone becomes apparent. The rest of the ship stays still, and the beam turns on. And since there's no background to worry about and nothing else, because that's all keyed out, it works. Another example of a very simple effect that we did, and this one I can link to because it's here on YouTube, but it is also coming to Amazon Prime, and it's free on Amazon Prime also when it comes up, so you'll be able to watch it there. Actually, I believe you can watch this free with ads too, so when it's up, I'll link to it. You won't need to have Prime. So it was in the Johnny Pitchman laser light show video, where it's this decoration, but it's the most powerful, because Johnny Pitchman, everything's the biggest, right? It's the most powerful laser light you can fire, to decorate your house. And I know pretty simply you can do a laser beam in After Effects, but I'm not an After Effects kind of guy. I can use it. I can use templates. It takes me so much longer than I want. And in the old days, I did the lasers where I would output a film strip, export it into Adobe Photoshop, and draw the laser getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then draw the back half getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So what you could do is a very similar effect to this. What I wound up doing in the Johnny Pitchman video was the light, I don't have it down here, I thought I did, but the little light, I used a lens flare effect, which is right there in Premiere. I put that over the part of the light as kind of a muzzle flash, right, for the laser beam, kind of the power building up. And then I drew a laser on black. I just used a second layer in Photoshop, gave it an outer glow, and that's why I like using Photoshop. You can do that outer glow. I put it on black, and then I just superimposed that over the thing that was firing it. It comes out, and then it moves a little bit more slowly than it should, just because I wanted people to be able to see it. It was an outdoor shot. It was pretty bright. When I did the laser as fast as the laser should go, you barely saw the effect because it wasn't a very big space we shot with. And I just, I had already drawn it at a tilt because I knew how I wanted it, and I just used the motion the same way I moved the spaceship around. Right? You can just move that one layer of video the way you make like a still picture slide across the screen. Same thing. But since it's superimposed, it looks like it's moving across the background. If I wanted to do it another way, I could have just drawn the laser, going from one place to the other, and again, wiped it in and wiped it out. Use the wipe effects, nice and simple, right? You keep the bottom layer what it is, and the top layer you wipe in so the laser gets shown up, and wipe it out so it disappears. And you just have to line it up with whatever your gun is and the direction you want it to go, and you can curve things. Let's say you don't have Photoshop, assuming you can do, which I believe most video editing will do, most video editing software will do, especially at the prosumer to pro level, just a solid block of color. So like you would put behind, when you put a newscaster's name, you want to make sure it shows up, you put that solid block of color behind the titling, or you can even just use the titling. So there's your laser, right? And you just wipe that solid color in and wipe that solid color out. Boom, there you go. Is it going to look kind of 1980s? Yeah. But if you watch my stuff, I like it to look 1960s. I like it to look 1950s. So that kind of primitive look works for me. If it doesn't work for you, then get familiar with After Effects. But until you do, if you want to write science fiction, don't let it hold you back. Keep special effects simple. Put them in. Use them sparingly because they're going to look a little bit cheesy and a little bit retro. But don't be afraid to try new stuff. You could always do the old Flash Gordon thing. I've actually bought some of these because I want to try it out. They used to light a sparkler, right? Just a regular sparkler. Shoot it in front of black. Keep everything else as dark as possible. Just expose that sparkler. And then you do this, right? Now, you have your character with your gun, you put the sparkler in front of it, and it shoots flames, right? It shoots that little sparkling comet across the screen. One of the things I like about it is using the retro effects like that. People have seen the CG so much, they're jaded to it, right? You put a practical effect in a new video, and it clicks something over it. It looks, wow, that's neat. Sometimes they'll know how you did it, sometimes they won't know how you did it. I actually had someone ask me how I did the CG. Actually, multiple people have asked me how I did the CG for the vines in Lumber vs. Jack, grabbing people. All you video guys know how that was done, right? There was no After Effects in that. There was no stop motion. It was. We started with the vine where we wanted it to be, and then we pulled it away, and then we reversed the footage. And when I told them, they're like, "Oh, is that all?" And they thought it was disappointing that we didn't use a more complex effect to achieve something that they, up until that moment, thought looked really cool, because they thought it was a special effect that cost a lot of money, that took a lot of computer power and everything else. When they found out it was a simple effect that had been being used for 100 years, then all of a sudden, oh, that's disappointing. Why is it disappointing? It still looked the same way that it looked when you thought we put a lot more effort into it. And actually, it takes a lot of effort to do those effects right. Your actors, my actors in Lumber vs. Jack, most of the time were spot on. Alien Vengeance too. I was really impressed with how people would react when those tentacles would grab them, when really what they were doing was starting out with it there and letting it go, and they had it in their heads. Take that backwards. If you find on here, I'll try to remember to link to that too, the video for Alien Vengeance with the commentary, I talk about that, and how we did the tentacle effects with the reverse footage. So there you go, guys. Some simple special effects. I'm going to take my wife out to dinner now, so this video is a little rambly, a little short probably, but there you go. And keep checking our blogs. We've been running old videos in the blogs and then updating with some just new written blogs. We have our Cult Goddess magazine blog, our Production Diary blog, which is basically inside HFP, some video, some writing, and our independent movie review blog. If you have a short film or any kind of film that can be streamed online and you want it reviewed, send it to us. You'll find that I'm not usually the type of reviewer who's going to say, this movie was great or this movie was terrible. I mean, if it's great, I'll probably say it. But I will put a movie in perspective of when you should watch it, what kind of mood you should be in, what kind of audience it's really made for. So if I don't feel your movie's for a broad audience, if I feel it's for a very specific audience who likes a special kind of movie, I'll say that. But I very rarely will call somebody to task for having a low budget, or things that just didn't. If the acting is subpar, but you can tell everybody was putting an effort into it, I might say it's the type of acting you expect in a low budget movie when people don't have a lot of time to rehearse. But anyway, so if you want to have your movies reviewed, send them to me. It will not be in the video section here. It will be on my blogs. And there's going to be a bunch of links in the description of this if I do things right today. See you soon, guys. Bye-bye.